And thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. How often do you fly? Because that's going to be our topic of discussion today. The airline industry and the dire situation in which it finds itself. Petrol for the airline industry is not called petrol. It's A1, jet A1, or aviation fuel. It's still the same thing. You got to put it in the tank there. And this has gone way up. It's gone way up. I'm understanding, looking at my notes here, which is an indication of how often I fly, is 903 naira per liter in some northern states. So we hear. Well, my guest this morning will help us put perspective on these things. Wole Shadare is a journalist and aviation expert. Thank you very much, Wole, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. As I was just saying, grabbing hold of the flat end of it, 903 naira per liter in some northern states. And I purposely took that because of our location here in Lagos. And that's, about the farthest that you can go. If it's 903, what was the general pricing, just shall we say about 3-4 years ago when things were not this bad?
Let's even put it this way. Thank you for this question. Let's even put it this way. Let us not even look at 3-4 years ago. Let us look at it January this year or December this year. December this year, aviation fuel cost between 180 or about 200 naira.
To 200.
Yes, between that and 250. But the whole thing started skyrocketing, and we all know some of the problems that could have been responsible for that.
They're going to mention Ukraine?
Absolutely. Ukraine has that because Nigeria couldn't also contribute its quota to the oil, global oil industry. And because of the shortage in the Ukraine of gas, it really affected the whole world. Not only aviation industry, it also affected cost of other commodities. So even I was in Doha June this year for IATA, International Air Transport Association AGM, where the DG of IATA was seriously, where he talked about the impact of Russia-Ukraine war to the global aviation industry. But let us bring it down to Nigeria. Aviation fuel, or what we call jet fuel, is deregulated. It has no subsidy. Government is not subsidizing.
That's the meaning of it being deregulated.
Deregulated. So
unlike
PMS,
your PMS, your car
if we're going to have, if government is going to fully deregulate that sector, I think PMS is going to be to sell between probably 400 and 500 naira now with what we are seeing now. And that is why the subsidy has continued to jump up from almost 6 trillion naira per year. Is so alarming. But let us bring it down to the aviation industry. Aviation fuel, before now, used to take about between 25 and 30% of airline revenue. But now it's between 50 and 55%,
of their operating costs.
Operating costs. And if you look at the airline business, it's highly capital intensive.
In fact, one article, maybe it was a bit exaggerated, was saying that it's gone up as high as 70% of the operating costs.
I don't think it's up to that, but still, very soon it could be up to that.
But
now,
even at that, 50%
is very high. It's very high. It's
high.
Not even sustainable for the airlines. And I actually don't know how the airlines are still in business, but they just need to keep on flying. And that is why airfares have gone so high now. From Lagos to, for example, Abuja, it costs between, the least you can get now is 75,000, 80,000. It could go as high as 150,000. And that's what people have been buying in the last 1 month. So Aside that, even the international air travel too has gone up.
Sorry, I beg your pardon for interrupting you. But just to put what you just said in context, because there are a lot of our viewers that perhaps don't fly. Quite frankly, it's a privilege to fly. But the prices before, people could sort of manage to But now we're hearing, you just said, I was reading one article on it, and it says that Lagos-Abuja return could be as high as 250K.
Yes,
Lagos-Abuja
it's
return.
very possible.
$250,000.
Yes, it's possible.
Lagos-Kano, between 200 and 300K, depending on time of booking.
Time of booking, yeah.
That is a problem. And then I have a whole series of.
Let me even tell you.
Yes.
Just about 4 months ago, airfare was just about 4 or 5 months ago was between 25 and 35,000 naira. So, and that was when we had aviation fuel going as high. Aviation fuel cost between 200 and 250 then. So it was very easy for them to put their fares at. Put their fares at 25, 30,000. And 3 or 4 months ago, the airlines met in what has been generally condemned as coming together to fix prices. They came together to say the least fare that they're going to have was going to be 50,000 naira then. A lot of people condemned in that the regulatory body would have waded in. It is called anti-competition law, where you come together. Why don't you allow demand and supply to determine what you're going to charge? But at that period, we felt the airlines were unreasonable. But with the situation of things now, it shows that they were not unreasonable.
You can now see
it shows that they were
there.
even trying to manage the situation and charge 50,000 naira then. But everything has gone south now, which has forced them to say, okay, we only think of aviation fuel. We are not even thinking of other things. We are not thinking of forex. It's so difficult for airlines to get foreign exchange now from the CBN. So what they do is to resort to the black market, which we know the differential, difference is so high.
But why is it so difficult for them, crucially essential as they are, to get forex? You would have thought that would be a first line priority.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea?
You see, the CBN too is also going through. We are not earning forex like we used to earn before. Our oil production has reduced, and a lot of them have been stolen, whichever way or why we didn't stop it or why we're not stopping it
is what another conversation.
Exactly. So you look at what we were producing before compared to what we're producing now, it has gone down now. So we're not earning forex. The CBN is not earning a lot of forex to meet up the challenges. People want to go to school abroad. People want to go on medication abroad. You need forex. You need it. So the CBN is under pressure to ensure that they give priority to where it is needed most. And aviation is one of the key areas that the CBN, I feel the CBN should have looked into. And that is why even the federal government is owing foreign airlines over $460 million.
In fact, this situation is as dire as Dana and Aero to have said, you know what, I think we're just going to chill. We're just going to take a back seat.
No, the Dana issue is quite different from what happened to Aero. Aero was because they looked at the situation and said, no, we can't continue to operate like this. Let us shut down and begin to reappraise our operation, to think of what we're going to do. Maybe we're going to jettison some of these fuel-consuming, guzzling aircraft like Boeing 737 and all the rest, and begin to have another appraisal of their operation by getting aircraft that are less fuel-consuming.